Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the March Professional Development webinar. My name is Sam Suber, and I'm the chair of the Professional Development Committee. This month's topic is titled Using OverDrive to Enhance Physical and Digital Displays. This is presented by Amy Pinc and Shekinah Lawrence from Triton College. For reference, this webinar is being recorded and the video of the recording will be distributed to NILROC members after the webinar is completed. With that, I'll let Amy and Shekinah take it away.
Hello, good morning. Sorry, can you hear me now? Hi, good morning. We are, yes, from Triton College, and I'm just going to start sharing my screen for the PowerPoint that we put together. Okay, thank you. So yeah, as Sam stated, yes, so the presentation is using OverDrive to enhance physical and digital displays. So I will be discussing a little bit more information about what OverDrive is and how it is functioning in the NILROC consortium environment. Just kind of for my personal knowledge, how many people on this webinar today are already familiar with OverDrive in some way or are familiar with the OverDrive NILROC consortium?
Looks like we have some thumbs up in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. I want to just kind of see where everybody's at, since a majority of this will be talking specifically about the displays portion, but I do want to give a basic overview and just kind of talk a little bit about how Triton is using OverDrive as well. Okay, so I will get right into this. So the NILROC OverDrive Consortium. So just some basics. So what is OverDrive and Libby? OverDrive is a platform that has ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and videos. For OverDrive, you can access it through the platform online. What I like about OverDrive, using it in the online format, is that allows users to recommend content. It is a friendly, easy to navigate platform. And if you are using the back end of OverDrive, the OverDrive marketplace, that's where purchases are made by your individual libraries. So if we're talking about OverDrive, we're also talking about the Libby app, which might be how a majority of patrons actually access content. The app is used by patrons to have access to OverDrive materials owned by the institution and consortium through mobile devices. Great thing about the Libby app is it allows offline access to items in your shelf, so you can download those items and have access whether or not you're using the internet. It replaces the previous OverDrive app, which I know people have very strong opinions about, but since it's going away, I figure, embrace Libby. The downside, at least right now, for the Libby app is you cannot recommend content through it, unlike in the previous OverDrive app. So OverDrive in a consortium environment. So why, if you're having OverDrive, why should you have it? Why should you be part of the NILROC consortium? You have access to more books and audiobooks than a single institution, especially when we've been making these displays. That has been incredibly helpful. There's no way we would be able to have as much content that we'd purchase individually as is available now as part of the consortium. If you don't want to do anything to make collections or do anything at all, NILROC consortium already has some tailored collections that you can have on your homepage, and it's on the main NILROC consortium OverDrive homepage before you log in. There is a potential for a discount for consortial magazine collection. I know we've been in talks about this. It isn't something that is happening right now, but the potential is there. MARC records, we can get MARC records. They're available, you know, whether you're part of the consortium or not, but thanks to being part of the consortium, our friends at, I believe, Joliet Junior College are the people who are actually getting those records and helping them have them uploaded into Alma if your institution uses Alma. So the individual libraries don't have to do that. And also the OverDrive committee and listserv / support group. I think it's extremely helpful to have other people to discuss problems with, successes with, have someone out there who can kind of help lobby more if there are things that we'd like to see with OverDrive. I've definitely found the OverDrive committee as well as the listserv to be helpful many times over. Really quickly, the pricing breakdown. As it is now, you're paying 25% for a hosting fee. Advantage purchases, the funds to purchase titles owned by the member institution. So you have 75% of your purchase price for using OverDrive. It goes to this advantage purchases now. But that said, purchases that we have to share with the consortium, as per our agreement, member institutions must share at least 25% of advantage purchases with the consortium. So I can tell you for Triton, we share everything we purchase aside for the cost per circ items with the consortium a month after purchase. We can also set it, you can set it up in OverDrive so it can automatically share certain content and purchasing models after a set period of time or right away after you purchase them. It's really up to the individual institutions. And I just have a little graph there in case you're more of a visual person. OverDrive lending models, you have your basic 1 copy, 1 user, which you check out items to 1 user at a time. Never expires from your collection. It is very similar to, you know, basic physical book checkouts, metered access checkouts, which you can check out by 1 person at a time. Expires from your collection after a certain period of time, either a time period, maybe 36 months, or by a certain number of checkouts. Simultaneous users can be checked out by an unlimited number of users at the same time, and they usually expire from your collection after a set period of time. I know in OverDrive, a lot of these are more academic collections that I know you can purchase that way, or the magazine collection is a good example of this. Those are simultaneous users and simultaneous checkouts. The cost per circ model, only pay when users borrow titles. They can be borrowed simultaneously, unlimited number of users, and you have a set budget for cost per circ items per month, and it'll pull from that budget until the money runs out. Additionally, you can purchase class sets, which you can purchase the exact number of copies that you need for the length of time you need. That being said, you need the email of the students or users who will actually be accessing the material because they are for a specific user. And I went over all these lending models in part to discuss how Triton is using OverDrive. So when we originally decided to purchase or subscribe to OverDrive, we really wanted to do it. It was the middle of the pandemic. We wanted to bulk up our recreational reading section, which is our physical collection on campus. And really what we were planning to do in the beginning was to preference purchasing recommended items, or items that were recommended by users. We do that still, but we have also been slowly adding more items that either have been librarian recommended or we have needed to have purchased as part of our displays and collections. We use it for a specific class curriculum. Cost per circ items and class sets have been extremely helpful in this. One of our classes for rhetoric, before the pandemic, they would have a long list of books that they could choose from to do a book report. And we would be helping them physically request these books through iShare. We switched this over in the pandemic and used OverDrive, the cost per circ model, and the class set model to help students get the books that they would need for this class instead. We subscribe to the digital magazine collection, which has replaced all of our print collections. And in OverDrive, just to kind of showcase for our users who are used to our print collection, we did decide to do a print to digital magazine collection to show what we had in print that we now have digital for them. Also, we've been using OverDrive for our virtual displays and collections. And with that said, this is kind of ending my quick portion of today's webinar. So I want to throw it over to my colleague Shekinah to continue on to discuss our awesome virtual displays and collections. So thank you. If you have any questions before she begins, please raise your hand or put it in the chat.
Thank you, Amy. And so talking about using OverDrive for collections and displays, my name is Shekinah Lawrence, and I am representing myself, River Sealer, and Yuli Milnick, and we are the reference librarians here at Triton. And so let me start by just saying we love using OverDrive, especially for digital displays and collections. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through kind of our way of how we use OverDrive, and not only OverDrive, but also our LibGuides for our digital displays. And Amy is my driver, so go ahead to the next slide, Amy. We're taking a look at how we put together a digital display from two lines of thought. So first I'll talk about theoretical, and then I'll talk about the technical side. So theoretically, I mean, as I'm speaking to a group of my peers, my tribe, librarians, we all love putting together displays. And so understanding that when we're putting together a display in OverDrive, we are looking at the fact that this display is going to be temporary, and it is an enhancement of our physical space, but it's also an extra resource for our remote user. Just like Amy said, OverDrive really came into fruition for us during the pandemic when we wanted to make sure that we had items available for our users when they were at home. But the temporary portion of it is the books, as you know, won't go away. It's just the display itself will kind of go away or be moved further down. And I'll talk about that in a moment when we get to see what it looks like. But I did want to make sure that I help you guys understand that when we're thinking about the remote user, that remote user is anybody in your library's network that can be anywhere that can access your library's network. But the cool thing about the remote user is if that remote user comes in, we want our digital displays to be real cohesive with our physical displays so that what they saw online, when they come into the building, they see something that's not necessarily matching, but definitely complementary to it. However, the display in OverDrive will be robust enough on its own that if they never come into the building, they still have plenty of resources and can still participate in whatever the display is. And just a quick note about the displays in general. When we're thinking about doing digital displays, your timeline for that could be anywhere from if you are doing a plan for the coming year, the coming quarter, the coming semester, or even things that are just coming up at your college where you know that a certain program is coming up, or certain disciplines have different things that happen throughout semesters, and you may just want to have a complimentary display available. Then this is when you're starting to think about when you conduct your needs assessment. Like, what do you want your patrons to get from the display? And then how is the display going to supplement your physical materials? There are some things that we have in digital format, and we also have it in physical format. But then there are some things that are exclusively digital, which is actually nice too, because it kind of gets your users to look at both places. Like they actually can pull up some resources physically, but then there are some things that they can only get digitally, like our magazine collection now, and it kind of draws them into using all of our resources that we have available. And then lastly, in your needs assessment, you're going to think about, are there things that you need to add? So you already have certain things available. And of course, as we are putting together digital displays, we're going to look at what we have available first. But then if we find that we need some things to add, we have no problem, asking our digital technical director to, add a few things on to have that available for when the time is ready for that display to go live. And so the biggest thing here is you're going to design, you're going to plan, and then you're going to create. And the creation part is actually kind of fun. So go ahead with the click button there, Amy, and we'll show a quick screenshot of one of our digital displays in OverDrive. Now, so this is a screenshot from about a couple of weeks ago when we were in the heat of Black History Month, and we were also doing a display on banned books. So both of these were physical displays in our library, and this was our supplemental digital display available online for our remote users. And one of the things I want to point out is how beautiful it looks. I think a lot of us are captivated by book jacket art, and it's no different in your digital display. You have the opportunity to select and customize how you want your digital display to look in OverDrive, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the technical side. So let's go to the next slide. So on your technical side, when you're creating your digital display, I'm not going to walk you through how to do that, because the cool thing is OverDrive has a lot of guides that are very easy to use, very step-by-step instruction that can walk you through how to use or create a guide. And then just make sure that you know that you'll need help from your technical staff in order to get the correct permissions to create displays. And then some of the things that we don't consider it a bad thing, but just an opportunity is when you are putting together the digital displays, the ebooks and the audiobooks and the magazines, they're not auto sorted. So when you're pulling titles and you're creating a curated display, all of those titles are going to come in together. So go ahead with the first. There we go. Marketplace help. Just wanted to show you guys a quick snapshot of what this page looks like. These are where your guides are to kind of give you a step-by-step instruction on how to create the curated displays. And go ahead and click again, Amy, for me. Okay, so this is what it looks like within our curated displays. And I just wanted to draw your attention to, I know it's kind of small, but if you'll notice the top 6 links there on the page, those are the ones that we created. And if you look over into the 4th tab, you'll see the column that says curator. Those are the ones that we've created, but then OverDrive has also created displays, and those are listed pretty simply: most popular fiction, nonfiction, audiobooks, magazines. And so if you don't ever create any, then OverDrive will automatically kind of update as your collection enhances. But the fun thing is for you to be able to go in and create displays according to the displays that you have in the building, as well as what's going on in the world, what's going on in your college, or just maybe just some fun things that staff wanted to pick out and highlight a particular section of books. Okay, go ahead to the next slide. One thing I also want to say about the OverDrive that I missed saying is when you are putting the curated displays in order, keep in mind that OverDrive will tell you that it may take 24 hours before you actually see what it looks like on the home page. Fortunately for us, that hasn't been our experience. It usually will change over within the hour, which is really fun. And then you can go to the live screen and you can see all of the work that you've put in. And close to the end, I'll have Amy go and take a look at our live link so that you can see what ours is looking like right now. So another thing that we use as a digital display are our LibGuides. And our LibGuides are really fun to use, where we can take a LibGuide and really focus on the beautiful artwork of these books and focus in on whatever it is we're talking about. But the cool purpose of the LibGuides is we're providing resources to the patrons that are a little more vetted. These are resources that could be used in research if necessary. So many of the things that are offered in the LibGuide is somewhat instructional, but it can also be recreational as well. And then we're making sure that they're learner and user focused. So you're going to be able to have something available to your patrons that if it's a community member that just wants to learn a little bit more about a particular subject, then they have all kinds of informational things available within the LibGuide for recreation and learning, versus your student who may be very specifically working on an assignment. And these are stepping stones to books and links. So when you have a physical display in the building, then it really is just, books available and perhaps some decor. Whereas your LibGuide offers you another digital display space that can give you links that are focused on your subject, but not necessarily a book or an ebook or a magazine. As an example, go ahead and hit our next picture. On this particular LibGuide, we were excited to not only focus on books and ebooks that we had available for LGBTQ resources, but also we were able to focus on some podcasts or some popular and classic films, which are leading our users to other platforms that we have, like Swank and Academic Video Online, and even Canopy. So your digital displays are just that. They are not just your books and your ebooks, but they're giving you access to blogs. They're giving you access to databases and articles, and just really fun ways to kind of round out your full display. Oh, and just as a side note, it's like gone are the days when you roll out your big television with the VCR and you kind of sit it up behind your display. And Amy and I were talking about this. We do still have our TV and our VCR. We could pull it out if we needed to, but it's nicer to be able to say, hey, go take a look at our website, and we have some really fun things that you can look at, and you don't have to be in the building to look at it, because you can go and click on it from your laptop at home. All right, next page. Physical displays. All right, so I love physical displays. I mean, come on, this is the reason we all went to library school, is because we love books and we love just everything that books embody, and from the learning to the romanticism of it. And so book displays, I don't know about you, but it's my jam. So we love it over here. And so when we're thinking about the outer realms, or, outside of the digital world and back into the physical world, we think about how we can enhance what our collection has. Our collection has been thoughtfully curated. Our collection has been vetted by librarians and staff members, as well as instructors. And sometimes you just know the students and community members don't have the chance to browse the shelves like they used to. So you make displays, and not only do you make a display, but you make it in such a way that it is exciting, it is colorful, and it is pulling the reader and the user in. So when you think about the intention and purpose, what do you want a patron who observes the display to get out of it? We have been having a lot of fun, especially within the last year, putting together displays because we know that there are going to be more students and more community members in the actual building. Whereas before, we could focus more on the remote options because we know that we didn't have as many visitors. But now that we have visitors, it's like we're rolling out the red carpet, and we're also being very, we're just being more homely for our users, bringing them back. The word escapes me of what I want to say, but it's like when you're inviting people into your house and you want them to feel at home. Thinking about thoughtful placement of your displays is important. So not all of your displays are going to be in high traffic areas. These displays that you see pictured, the two larger photographs are right at the front of our building. So as soon as community members and patrons and students walk in the door, they see this huge reference desk that has all kinds of beautiful books and things displayed on it. However, the third photograph shows that there is a small display of plants at the back of the library. And we did that strategically for a couple of reasons. Number one, this particular display is focusing on plants, and the plants needed to be near windows where there was a lot of sunshine. But the other side of that is these beautiful plants that are budding and having beautiful colors and beautiful fragrances at the back of the library pulls your users all the way through the space. And then if they're interested, they go all the way to the back of the library so they can see what's going on with this colorful display of items that is connected to the books that we have up at the front. And it is sitting beside another collection of books that's not pictured, that's also just as captivating, which is our graphic arts collection. So thoughtful placement of your display is important because it's moving your users throughout the space. Now, the two things that we are excited to be able to open up to you all joining us is when we're thinking about the interaction and the observation of our displays, how are your patrons interacting with the display? When you put a display out, you're not going to put it out there and just kind of leave it for a month or 2 weeks, and then you're going to go back and pull the books and, just go to the next display. You're going to be watching your display like a mama eagle and a mama hawk. I mean, you're going to be out there, you're going to be kind of walking around it. You're showing value by showing your own interest in being around the display. You're not going to be that furniture salesman that as soon as somebody walks in the door, you're asking them, hey, how can I help you today? You're not the furniture/car salesman, but you are the librarian who is knowledgeable about what's on display. And you want to be available so that you can talk about the display if necessary, but you've also put things on display to answer questions when a human person is not available. As you see, there are a few flyers in between the books that we have on display, as well as sometimes we provide bookmarks. And so when you're out there observing how users are interacting with the display, it makes you keep in mind any type of improvements you can do for future displays. So I'll tell you, one of the issues that we have been having by putting our displays out is the fact that so many of our users enjoy looking at the displays, but they're afraid to touch the books. So they're looking at the display and they see the beautiful plants. I'll show you another picture in just a few moments where we did a beautiful Black History display, and everybody is so excited about how nice it looks, but they're not picking up the books. And so we're like, okay, we need to come up with some ideas to remind people that it is okay to check out these books that are on display. So it's kind of like the difference between a display versus an exhibit. There are portions in your library that may truly just be for exhibit, but this is for display, meaning that the books are available to be checked out. As a side note, we had another event in another part of the college where another group has set out books, and they were books that they were using specifically for exhibit. But students were grabbing the books and they had to tell them, no, these books aren't free. They're a part of a display. And so it was kind of interesting to us because we thought, now why is it that the students thought it was okay to grab those books, but here in the library, they don't want to touch our books? So it was like, is there something in the idea between loanable versus free? And so that's something that we're going to be thinking about in the coming weeks as we are thinking about more of our displays. And feel free to drop in the comments if you guys have any suggestions on how to continuously remind students in this post mid-pandemic COVID world that yes, you can touch the books and yes, you can check these books out. Let's go ahead to the next slide. Now, here's the great part where we marry the two worlds together, your physical displays and your digital displays. On display, you want to be able to have a place where the user who is in a bit of a hurry can go back to your digital display when they get a chance. So offering a QR code, which is creatable in OverDrive, can allow you to have your user go back and look at your digital display that is matching your physical display. And so that's going to be a part of your physical display. The QR codes are super quick. As long as the person has a QR reader on their phone, they can snap that code. And now they have our digital version of their display going with them out the door, even if they never got a chance to check out a book. So this is really fun, and we have really enjoyed using this portion of OverDrive to connect our digital and our physical displays together. All right. So here, I'm really excited to show you this slide because this is also a part of a display that we did for Black History Month, and this was a collaboration with our student life group. Now, when we're thinking about interdepartmental displays and programs, let's first of all address the elephant in the room. You do not need a partner in order to do a book display. You don't have to partner with another department. Literally, as librarians, we are well aware of what's going on in our collection, and we are quick to pull some things together because we want to highlight the awesome things that we just received or highlight some items that we have that we know is going to supplement assignments that instructors are giving out. But when you're thinking about collaboration, the really cool thing about collaboration is building relationships throughout your college, throughout your university, where you're having faculty, staff, instructors, administrators have some kind of way that they are connected to the displays and the books. And then many times they're often very excited about providing decor and visual enhancement for your physical displays. Not to mention, if we don't have things in our collection that they think would also be really helpful to the display, they can suggest other items to enhance the collection, whether it be digital or physical. But the biggest thing is the first contact. When we're thinking about planning out our displays for the year, thinking about events that the college may have, thinking about the disciplines that the college may serve, we want to think about ways that we can reach out to other departments and ask them if they are interested in joining us in creating a display.
Half an hour to go work on the archives.
So it's a networking opportunity. And then you can offer, it could be something as simple as providing an actual project proposal, or it could be, you know, a quick email to your department lead or a couple of the professors and asking them if there is something that they're interested in that they want to collaborate with, and we can all come together. Very important is during your meeting to take lots of follow-up notes and keep everything documented, mostly so that you can keep track of the great ideas that come from these sessions, but also to be able to pass the job along between your coworkers. Because one of the things that happened to us in the last semester is we began to work on collaborations with outside groups, and then I broke my ankle. So I was out of the office for many, many weeks. And so it was great that my coworkers could kind of come in and pick up where we left off, and they were able to make sure that the display continued, and we were on track to be able to have this beautiful Black History display that you see in front of you. Project completion. Keep your group informed on how the display looks, questions that you're getting from the patrons and the students, and how the programs, if any, are going. Because one of the fun things about the collaboration is circling back around to your partners to tell them, hey, you guys, your students came in, your students were checking out the books, your students was asking questions, or your students want to know how they can volunteer, or any of those things where we're always keeping the open level of communication going. And then keeping in touch. After the display is over, that does not mean that the relationship is over. It just means that that display is done, and now we have an opportunity to work together in the future. We have an opportunity to pre-plan, including our university and college partners in the future planning of the displays, as well as collection development. One of the things I wanted to point out here for the decoration of this physical display, the majority of these decorations came from our partners, which was Student Life. They were the ones that brought in these beautiful cloths that we put down for the African display, and as well as the beautiful frames that were highlighted in front of the books. Those were a portion that was offered by our partners. It was something that we didn't have in the library. Now, I will say this, as beautiful as the display is, one of the things that we are still, again, working on is making sure that students know that they can touch the displays. And I actually kind of thought, and my co-librarians agreed with me, that because the display was so beautiful and had the frames, that students may have been a little bit hesitant to pick up the books because they didn't want to mess up the display. And so that's one of the things that we are working on, to be able to provide signage, to be able to provide something to say, please touch the display, interact with the books, check the books out. Now, I have been going super fast because I'm super excited about all of these things that I'm talking about. So I want to pause for a quick second and ask, does anyone have any questions? Oh, and thank you for the kind compliments about the display. All right, we're going to go to the next slide, and I want to show you our live digital displays. So one of the fun things about our LibGuides is our LibGuides kind of keep a history of what we have displayed in the recent past. So a user can go back and take a look at something that we did as far back as July 2021, but also what's going on now. So as you see in front of you, our Plant Appreciation Month, which is going on now, and it's actually going to extend into April, where we're going to come out of just plants and now even start to talk about more about gardening, because it's the time of year for it. We have worked hard to bring together books, magazines, links, all of these things that a user could use and take a look and see how they can learn more about whatever the topic is. I also want to focus on our February 2022 tab, which was a super cute display that our fellow librarian Yuli did. Hey, Amy, could you click on February 2022? I want to show them that one. It's so cute. And so taking advantage of cover art. Oh my goodness, how fun is this? Valentine's Day was February 14th, and we were saying the Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors versus Don't You Forget About Me. You're my favorite edition. Do we belong together? I mean, we had so much fun with this, because all it is just bringing the user's attention to the great books that we have, and having a little fun. Also, Yuli was so fun. anti-Valentine's books to let you know that you don't need a relationship to be happy. I mean, seriously, aren't we just kind of making sure that we're covering all the bases here? These are such fun ways to use the beautiful cover art that already comes on the digital books, and again, highlighting a very well-crafted, curated collection of items that we want users to know that they have access to. And now I want to have Amy click on the other link to kind of show you what's going on in OverDrive. And again, feel free, guys, to come to our website and take a look at your leisure as well. But here is our OverDrive front page. And at the top, we have the most popular, which is, of course, the curated collection by OverDrive. And OverDrive will pull out all of the things that people in all of our schools are reading the most. And then if you scroll down a little bit, we have our curated collection. So our Bring Your Own Book Club books, we have a really wonderful group of faculty, staff, and students that come together monthly to talk about books, and we are able to bring those books together in a curated collection here, where anyone who didn't get to attend the book club session or who is just interested in knowing what we're reading, we've put together a collection so that you can see what we're reading and what we're talking about. And then our outside displays, like the LGBTQ resources, International Women's Day, and then if you scroll down a little further, you'll find some of our older displays got kind of pushed to the bottom because these displays are still relevant even though they're not in the physical building anymore. And you can set a time where the display is gonna come off the front page. But right now, we thought that the displays were still beautiful and still relevant. And even though it may not be in a physical space in the library, it still could be living on OverDrive in order for participants to enjoy some of the digital offerings. And if you'll notice, the ebooks and the audiobooks are all kind of mixed in together. So it's unfortunate that OverDrive does not auto sort them. However, as you're curating your collection, if you just want it to be all audiobooks, then just make sure you select all audiobooks, and then that is what will be in the forefront of your display. Same with ebooks, same with magazines. For our spring plant collection, I chose to do all magazines because, for one, with the spring plants and house plants, focusing on our magazine collection not only brings attention to the fact that we have all kinds of really cool magazines that we are no longer offering in print in the library, but it's also showing the most recent information about, you know, what's going on for spring 2022. So let's say if you were doing a book display about fashion or about things that are going on in the world at this moment, and you wanted to focus specifically in magazines, you can do that, and you can actually select the magazines that are most current, April 2022 or spring 2022 at the top, and then it can kind of filter down to older editions. So really fun ways to use OverDrive. OverDrive is very rich and robust in the offering of all kinds of books and ebooks and audiobooks. And for magazines in particular, we were so excited to get access to magazines that are from all over the world. I think students, staff, and community members have really been enjoying using them. I know I've been enjoying using them. And so it's just something that, a way that we can show the collection. Instead of things being hidden, they have now come to light. And this is the way that we do it, by curating a small collection, a digital collection that can show the offerings that we have. Do you guys have any questions?
I just have a quick question for you. Did you say that you had monthly, you do a staff, was it a staff book club?
It's actually, okay, so the book club is students, staff, community members, whoever is interested in joining, we offer that so that they can come and chit chat about whatever book they're reading. We don't have like a book that we all read. We all
Okay.
we
Okay.
all
Okay.
bring our books. So that actually is reflected in the curated digital list on our homepage. So everybody brings the book that they're reading at the moment, and then they talk about it, and it's some really fun, lively discussions. And so,
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. Thank you.
oh, no problem.
And just to add to that, I mean, it is open to anybody. It is mostly staff of the college, not just the library. That is another way we try to get interdepartmental. So we have people from different departments stopping by to just talk about what books they're reading.
Cool. Very okay. And that's what I was wondering too. Yeah, it's not okay. So it's another way to reach out to
Absolutely.
other departments, which is
Yes.
hard to do sometimes. So great.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. I feel sometimes for the displays that we're doing, both, physical, digital, if we're collaborating with other departments, they're knowing we're here, they're knowing we're having certain resources, we do instruction, we do, one-on-one research appointments. So just, collaborating with them, it kind of also helps showcase what the library can provide for the different departments and for the students too.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Do we get many participants? Is that for the book club, Amy? Yeah, we do. It varies from month to month, but I mean, we get, usually between probably 10 to 15, 20 people. We also have an option to still meet online virtually. And so we do have some members who have left Triton, or past part-time librarians who have left, but still sometimes Zoom in if they get a chance to discuss great books.
It's really fun. We always have a chance to kind of see what everybody is reading, because, you get a suggestion of something you may have never thought of, and you get to widen your horizons. And the group is very diverse. So it's really cool that everybody's reading something different and interesting.
If there's not too many questions, I did just want to point out for our virtual displays on our LibGuides, most of those, especially the newer ones, are all OverDrive books. And if you do click on them, we have them, it takes you straight to the book in OverDrive. And I'm pretty sure as long as it's a book that's available to other libraries, you can get them that way as well. It would just be signing into your own account. So it's, it's specific, you can use it if it's anybody who has an OverDrive, part of the OverDrive NOAC consortium. So it's just not, unlike our own instance of OverDrive for Triton, these, as long as they're shared throughout the consortium, you can view and borrow right away.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on our PowerPoint presentation, or our emails. If you guys think of any questions that you would want to send us, or any comments that you think about, we would love to hear from you. We are always open to new ideas and more collaborations, because, we all here for the same reason. We love the books. So we are definitely open to continuous feedback and collaboration.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for stopping by our webinar today. And if you want more information about OverDrive, if you don't already subscribe at your library, you can please feel free to reach out to me, or if you want more specific information, reaching out to Lois if you're looking at potentially purchasing and joining our consortium. So thank you so much, guys.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.